All right, kids, I have to come clean. Me getting into political satire like I normally would seems like filthy work to me because I think I know less about politics these days than I did 6 years ago. It's more about the ability to keep up with news and notes. There's a lot going on. But it's not just me struggling. My subscribers and regular viewers aren't even paying attention to what I'm saying right now. They're staring at my t-shirt due to recent choices that I've made. With that in mind, we're actually going to focus on a distraction.
It's a general thing in my head all the time that just is like, be healthy, it's a new day. You can take charge, work out, be healthy. You gotta be around to see your sons grow up, have grandkids, great grandkids. And then 30 seconds later, it's like, ooh, what's the Crumbl Cookie of the week?
Is this a food review channel now? Today we will be talking about Crumbl Cookies, the preferred snack, pastry, or cake for those who believe donuts are a breakfast food, or only want marshmallows in their Lucky Charms, or take the edges off of Pop-Tarts before eating them. And before I continue, we have the technology. Frost the whole thing, Kellogg's. You may recall that I made a video about Raising Cane's when I was trying to figure out if it's Confederate fried chicken. Well, I don't need to know if Crumbl Cookies is GOP baked goods. One of its co-creators is a registered Republican. We'll get back to him later. Until then, look, any issues that the Crumbl company may have could also be due to hiring future vote blues no matter who's.
I'm not eating shit from her.
Got a foot on the cookie sheets. Those Crocs weren't in sport mode, so I'm sure that teen's socks weren't sweaty. Maybe she was taking a break because in December of 2022, the US Department of Labor found that some stores were letting employees use equipment they aren't legally allowed to operate, which included minors as young as 14 working longer hours than legally allowed. This involved 46 young workers in 11 locations spread out in 6 states, such as where the company was founded in Utah. Crumbl was fined $57,000 for violating child labor laws. But that's crumbs to these big ass cookies. Bloomberg estimated Crumbl's 2024 sales at $1.2 billion and profit around $91 million. They got dough. Well, enough bread to rebrand after that incident. The company issued an apology along with a pledge to take action to reform their problematic locations. Then, Crumbl Cookies changed their name to simply Crumbl and switched their logo. And good.
The Crumbl Cookie logo looks like a penis. I've been holding this in for years. There's this little chef with a chef hat that looks like a ball sack. It looks like a ball sack. And then it looks like, I don't even, go look at it and tell me it doesn't look like a penis.
I think I've only had Crumbl Cookies like twice, and it's been a while, but a taste test won't be necessary. One of the reasons why a political commentator such as myself is even doing this episode in the first place is due to another food review that came from an unexpected source.
I've inherited some cookies. Oh my God, these are a lot. These cookies are too big. I guess if you share it with your friend, maybe it's okay. I don't know, what even are these? What flavors are these? All right, I'm just taking candy mix.
Someone had to say it, because the best kind of girl is a quirky girl. Actress Zooey Deschanel taking a McDonald's CEO-sized bite of a Crumbl cookie.
This is Biscoff flavor? Just eat a Biscoff.
Making your cookies the flavor of another company's cookie is wild until you realize that Oreo makes cookies and cream flavored Oreos. In other words, Oreo flavored. Oh, and Crumbl also does an Oreo one. Anyways.
Don't tell me this is chocolate chip. What is this? No.
You should know that when Crumbl began, they originally sold just chocolate chip cookies. Now look at them, getting dunked on by a new girl.
I can't figure out why people like these cookies, but if you like cookies like this, bless you. You can have mine. If you have recommendations for cookies that don't taste like this, please send them. Thank you.
That video got 2.4 million views on Instagram alone. And Insomnia Cookies, along with Cinnabon and Nothing Bundt Cakes, took advantage to pile on Crumbl. Kind of like Burger King and Wendy's did with McDonald's and their big arch. Crumbl took that review like a G though, saying, Zooey, we're a huge fan of yours. We've released over 200 flavors and we're sure we can get you something you'll love if you'd give us another chance. All this for a company that began just 9 years ago. So, Crumbl Cookies went from one store in Utah to the fastest growing cookie company in the US. By 2021, Crumbl was, as the Hollywood Reporter said, fueled by TikTok virality, influencer loyalty, and a weekly rotating menu that inspires both cravings and debate. Yet, could social media also be how these cookies crumble? That and the sheer amount of sugar they contain. And its calorie count.
What has more calories, a Crumbl cookie or these things? So the Crumbl cookie is the candy cane brownie Crumbl cookie.
That sounds like a lot of calories.
Or the McDonald's Big Mac.
I'm gonna say it's a Crumbl cookie.
You are correct. A McDonald's Big Mac has 563 calories. Crumbl cookie is way higher. What about the Crumbl cookie or a 12-pack of Miller Lite?
I don't know what's worse. Getting your cookies compared to Big Macs, a 12-pack of Miller Lite, and later in that clip, a family-sized bag of Doritos, or the fact that Crumbl probably tried to copy and paste the flavor of those three things for themselves. I'm sure of it. Like with McDonald's and their food, people have been running experiments using Crumbl, leaving their fresh baked cookies out on kitchen counters or tables for days, weeks, months, just to see if they grow mold. Still, others will call Crumbl's ingredients a list of chemicals. In studying for this video, I came across someone online who has made it part of his personal crusade to crash out on Crumbl or people who eat their cookies that have, among other things, artificial colors. Even though he has no business referring to anything or anybody else as fake.
Crumbl, I got the chocolate covered, 670 calories in this one.
Bro, that is not healthy. You cannot be eating that.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
I just paid for that with my own money.
Oh, don't worry, man. No, I got $100, man. $100 for you.
Bro, I don't want your money.
Bro, stop. You don't want. What the? Bro, dude, you cannot eat Crumbl cookie.
I never said he was wrong, though. As of last year, Crumbl had 1,103 locations in the United States and 25 in Canada, with plans on opening stores, restaurants, bakeries in Mexico and Australia. However, since 2023, at least 19 locations have closed. A $2 billion cookie brand with the average store annual net profit was over $250,000. But the median store profit was under $80,000. There appears to be cracks in the foundation, but that might just be how the perpetually undercooked cookies are made, with accusations of poor training and bad management of its employees. How are teens going to perfect 200 different kinds of cookies under these conditions? Yet, store closures and dwindling sales isn't the smell of defeat, pun intended. That can be covered up by Crumbl-scented Dove products and a vast army of creators who've made it their personal mission to chronicle every Crumbl cookie, flavor by flavor, week after week. Only, it seems to be only certain creators.
So Crumbl has not been reposting any Black creators, and I genuinely don't know why. I find that so weird because we are huge fans. This gotta be the nastiest thing I ever tasted in my life. We have always been super supportive of Crumbl.
Come on.
I'm not eating that.
Just one more bite.
I'm not eating that.
Crumbl has 10.8 million subscribers on TikTok. A quick scroll on their page will show you that no, they don't repost Black creators for one reason or another. Videos looking like sugar cookies, no brown skin, not even peanut butter complexion. Choosy Moms Choose Jeff. This takes us to who's behind this brand. Crumbl was founded by Jason McGowan and Sawyer Hemsley in 2017 while Hemsley was at Utah State University in Logan, Utah. They are cousins through marriage. Jason is more so the quiet one of the two, although he used his influence as a possible booster at BYU to keep the football team's head coach from leaving for Penn State. Meanwhile, Hemsley is the front-facing one that you're likely to see on social media. If I'm not mistaken, both men are Mormon or were raised that way, if you couldn't tell by the super sweet cookies. And they're conservative, if you couldn't tell by the breaking of child labor laws. Sawyer Hemsley is a registered Republican. And being real, he shouldn't be blamed for what one of his franchises does. And if we base one's political leanings on the party they're forced to register for when they are voting in a primary, then I would be a Democrat. The point is, Hemsley came out as gay last year, and that don't go together. Like Crumbl's everything bagel cookie. Sawyer was all but outed by an influencer who would later apologize, sure, but it shouldn't have even come to that. We're still in a place in America where people feel like they need to express themselves in what's deemed to be the prevailing, normative, acceptable ways just to get by. And nobody would know that more than the sugary cookies he makes.
I thought it was pretty obvious, but apparently it's not. The problem with Crumbl Cookies is that they were assigned cookie at birth. They don't identify as cookies. Crumbl Cookies identify as cakes, and that's why there's all that extra dough in them.
I can continue to say that Crumbl Cookies are made for people who Cap'n Crunch wasn't sugary or sweet enough for. I can say, oops, all underbaked when I see that pink box. I can claim that the way Cookie Monster eats cookies is how you should consume Crumbl all I want. But the second that their fans receive a ping notification that 5 or 6 new flavors just dropped on a Monday, think of it as the Krispy Kreme hot now sign for Zoomers like my students who don't know that they're eating grown-up easy bake oven snacks. Crumbl will continue to break the internet for good and bad reasons. They're tastemakers. 2 companies, Crave Cookies and Dirty Dough in Utah, were sued by Crumbl in 2022 for swagger jacking. I think charges were dropped or settlements were made, bygones were let. Got a problem with Crumbl serving sizes and large portions? Well, they came up with a cookie cutter to help you divide their treats accordingly, as well as Crumbl Minis, a normal human-sized cookie. There's that. And the company was accused of firing an employee who worked there for 3 years, then calling ICE on them to get the person deported. Seemed to be an ad for a scam gift card website. Didn't matter because by the time that video was deleted, folks had already decided that they would boycott the joint. It's politics as usual. According to Hemsley, we have all kinds of people at Crumbl who are Democrats. We have Republicans here. We have different sexual orientations here. The biggest question on our work survey is, can you be yourself at Crumbl regardless of what that is? I hope that includes the status of being paid a livable wage and being in a union. I wouldn't put it past this corporation to donate to a political action committee in order to decrease their own taxes while claiming they didn't know a politician with an R next to their names would try to take away marriage from LGBTQ communities. It's all political, which is why I spend time looking into some of these eateries that we're spending our hard-earned money on. We vote with our dollar, and who knows? We could be funding war or something with the purchase of Confederate fried chicken or conservative Keebler soft batch cookies or whatever else I'll get into the next few months. And I'm aware of the fact that my lack of awareness in the nightly news plays into this current administration's flood the zone strategy. However, there are times when I like being out of the loop. Maybe I'm crazy, but taking a break is gnarly. There was something so special about that place. Until I got sick of accidentally getting updates from my students. Flavor Flav invited the U.S. Women's Olympic hockey team to Vegas? That sentence is insane. Some dude named Tourette called Michael Jordan the N-word? Gotta be missing something. Al Green held up a sign that said black people aren't apes? First of all, that was a U.S. representative. Second, my joke about hot grits didn't go over well in that class. If there are any other businesses or their bosses that you want me to look into, please let me know. And whether or not you've had Crumbl yourself, tell me what you think. Try them. And if we're going to boycott a brand, drop it in the comments below. And as always, we're going to be all right.